people, a lot is happening in the political zone. Another video of Bola Ahmed Tinubu have finally been leaked again. When this Tinubu video leaked in the early hour of today, they wanted to stone Bola Ahmed Tinubu and others. An African president, the president of a particular country in Africa, have finally repented. This man repented and turned back to his people, and he made this confession. What Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing, how Tinubu is negotiating to sell Nigeria with other African leaders, with other African presidents, how they negotiating to sell the nation. Obedient, I would like guys to stay connected to the end of this video. They wanted to stop this video from coming to public, but this video I finally showcased and I finally bring you the full details. Come and see confession. This man know a lot about Bola Ahmed Tinubu and other African leaders. So if you can share this video, ensure you share, let it go viral. And if you can share it, give it a thumb up, like it, so that it will be recommended for us. Obedient, stay connected. I'm coming back again.
Welcome you back to Laju TV.
I don't have bad news for you today.
The home of religious gossip.
But you should believe you find for Mohammed.
What is happening in the Christendom? Join now to make sense with Laju.
Hello my great and wonderful viewers, welcome back to Laju TV. For those of you coming across this channel for the very first time, ensure you click the registration button that is appearing under your video screen, and also click the notification bell icon so that whenever we drop a new video, you won't miss our YouTube will easily notify you. A big thanks to all our returning subscribers. For those of you that have been giving us a total follow-up on what we're doing on this channel, a big kudos to you guys. So the update I have for you today is seeing what is happening in the political zone. You know, Bola Ahmed Tinubu have always been the topic of the day since when they conducted the election on the 25th of February. It's normally news that with everything that happened in the course of the election, all the electoral malpractices, the voters intimidation, the voters bullying, the shenanigans that took place in the course of the election, the underage voting, INEC still announced Tinubu as the president of Nigeria. So Mama Yakubu is the architect of all the things that is happening between Peter Obi, Tinubu, Atiku, and all of that. He orchestrated everything. Is the cause. It's normally news that the legitimacy of Tinubu on the presidential seat is still unquestioned in the tribunal. Peter Obi and Atiku took him to court, and the process is still going on in the tribunal. It remains for the tribunal to make dates and make the ruling. Maybe Tinubu will continue on the presidential seat of Nigeria, or he may be removed, because Obi filed petition against him and he released a lot of evidences. But that is not where we're going to. You know, it's normally known that the news fly out yesterday that there were bribes going on in the tribunal. They have started bribing the tribunal judges and all of that. The judges are already receiving bribes now, but a particular judge, a woman, cried out yesterday in the early hour of yesterday. She said nobody should ever bring their nonsense bribe to our table, that he is contented with what he has, that he wants to give justice. So that means that all other judges are already receiving bribe, but this woman cried out and he exposed what they are doing. They are giving millions and billions of naira to judges at the moment just for them to provide justice, but this woman rejected it. But that is not where we are going to. Where we are going to today is the fact that a president have finally come out, an African president. This man have finally come out to confess what Tinubu and other African leaders, other ECOWAS presidents are doing. The secret of what they are doing, how they want to sell the nation, how they are making negotiations on selling the nation. So I would like guys to stay connected to the end of this video. If you can share this video, ensure you share it, let it go viral, share it to different social media platforms, let a lot of people come across it. And if you can share it, like it and give it a thumb up so that it will be recommended for us. You know, when this man confessed all these things in the early hour of today, this one made a U-turn. He turned around and he come back to his people in his country, and he made all the confession regarding what Tinubu is doing in Nigeria, how Tinubu is negotiating to sell Nigeria with other African leaders. That is why they wanted to go and wage war in Niger, even when the House of Assembly declined that they should not go to Niger to wage war. If you should hear what this man said, because I will be showing you the full video of where the man said everything. If you should hear what this man said, you will be aspiring to stone Bola Ahmed Tinubu and other politicians in Nigeria. Their nyash is finally out. This man exposed everything. He shaked table. I told you in some of my videos, I said for them to go and wage war in Niger, they have their own personal benefit. They know what they are doing. It's not for the interest of the people, because the people are not interested in the war that they want to wage against Niger. So their secret is finally out. They wanted to stone them in the early afternoon when this video dropped, because they never wanted the video to drop to the general public. So with that, I would like guys to stay connected as we watch the full video. I'm coming back again.
You have heard of the quarrels going on in Niger, in West Africa, about uranium being taken to Europe. That's how I came to know recently. When this crisis started, we started getting information that apparently Niger is exporting a lot of uranium to Europe and to France for them to use in their nuclear power stations to generate electricity for themselves. So this morning I took interest. I said, by the way, what is the electricity supply in Niger? Before you sell uranium to the other person, how about you? What's happening to you? Now I found, I was told, there is a measurement they call kilowatt hour per capita. Kilowatt hour per capita. Apparently, the kilowatt hour per capita of electricity in Niger is 51. 51. Every person in Niger is using 51 kilowatt hour per capita. The GDP of Niger is US dollars 613. Now here in Uganda, our kilowatt hour per capita was very low, was like this in some years ago. Was as low as this one of Niger. But now it's about 300. Still very low. But that's where it is. Then how about the United States? What is the kilowatt hour per capita of the United States? 12,000. 12,000. And there is a country called Iceland. It has got a lot of electricity. Of course, they have got a small population, but it is 54,000. Now, Uganda has got a lot of uranium. Some years ago, a Western company came and proposed to mine the uranium. They came here, said they want to mine the uranium. I asked them, mine it and take it where? They said, export it. That was their answer. I asked them, export it for what purposes? They told me, for the purposes of generating nuclear energy, for electricity, and other uses such as medicine, vector control, etc. I then asked them, have you had a rumor that there are some human beings here in Uganda who need electricity, who need nuclear medicine, and who need vector control services? I asked them, you want to take the uranium, but have you had a rumor that there are some human beings here? It's not confirmed that they are there, but could it be a rumor that there are some human beings here? Why don't you propose to build that capacity here for the benefit of these human beings who live in Uganda? And maybe we can put aside some quantity of uranium for supporting the economies of our friends in the West. After that, after you have addressed my issue, I can also share with you so that you also go and solve yours. But to tell me that you solve my problems and forget yours, I cannot accept that. They never came back. They never came back. So the uranium of Uganda is sleeping in the ground until we are ready to use it. We have now agreed with the Russians and the Koreans to build 2 nuclear power stations for electricity of 15,600 megawatts total. Imagine, just 2 stations will produce 15,000 megawatts. One 7,200 megawatts, the other one 8,400 megawatts. Our biggest dam on the Nile is the Karuma with 640 megawatts. The hydro. The biggest opposition of our plan of building an integrated national economy has been mainly internal, from some elements of the political and bureaucratic classes who perform the role of comprador bourgeoisie, agents of foreign interests Mao Zedong talked about in China. Unlike the national bourgeoisie who build our economy, the comprador bourgeoisie, raw material exporters, importers of foreign products that can be made here, commission agents, bleed our economy. The national bourgeoisie, who are manufacturers, hotel owners, tourism operators, professional service providers such as doctors who treat people here instead of patients going out for treatment, internal distributors of our products such as food, build our economy. There are businesses which build our economy, which infuse blood into our economy. There are those businesses which drain blood from our system for the benefit of the outsiders. And these are the ones Mao Zedong called the comprador. Comprador is a French word meaning agent, agent of. Therefore, we the raw materials producers need to conduct internal struggles in our respective countries to add value to these raw materials, including coffee, so that we earn more from our sweat and create more jobs for our youth instead of dying in the Mediterranean going to Europe. We also need to sensitize our partners in the countries that have been buying our raw materials at same slave prices, that their economics is defective. What will the USA or Europe or Asia lose if Africa sells added value coffee to them instead of the raw materials of the raw material form and earn more money? What if the value addition is done to other raw materials like copper, gold, iron ore, lithium, etc.? Money to Africa will mean higher purchasing power for Africa. The Africans who now lack electricity will be able to afford to pay for electricity. Where will the turbines come from, the ones for generating the electricity? Will they not come from Europe, USA, Russia, China, or from other partners? So what we are proposing by adding value to our raw materials will mean putting more purchasing power in the hands of the Africans. But there is a page I jumped in my speech. Allow me not to leave it out. Now, because of this hemorrhage from Africa, because of these raw materials, that's why the economy of Africa is stunted. African economy is stunted. I had jumped this, very sorry, very sorry. That's why the economy of Africa is stunted. Somebody from stunted growth is somebody who can't grow. The GDP of the whole massive African continent, with a population now of about 1.5 billion people, is US dollars 2.7 trillion. What are the GDP sizes of other much smaller individual countries? Here below are some examples. USA 25.5 trillion. Africa 2.7 trillion. USA 25 trillion. China 17.9 trillion, almost 18 trillion. Japan 4.4. What is lithium here? I said no lithium will be exported. You make the electric batteries here if you are my friend and export those. Why do you want to export low value and you get more value? Uranium, etc. We've got a lot of uranium here. You have heard of the quarrels going on in Niger. There is a crisis now in an African country known as Niger. I think some of our friends from West Africa know it better, Togo and Cameroon, they know it better. You have heard of the quarrels going on in Niger, in West Africa, about uranium being taken to Europe. That's how I came to know recently. When this crisis started, we started getting information that apparently Niger is exporting a lot of uranium to Europe and to France for them to use in their nuclear power stations to generate electricity for themselves. So this morning I took interest. I said, by the way, what is the electricity supply in Niger? Before you sell uranium to the other person, how about you? And Africa, we who are here, we get only US dollars 2.4 billion. $2.4 billion out of a business of $460 billion. Uganda takes $845 million of this, of the 2.4 billion. Uganda takes more than 1/3 because of the volumes we produce here. Now, this is part of the iniquities of the present global parasitic system. The present global system is parasitic, right? It's the one who takes from you and doesn't give back to you. We call that a parasite. So this system is parasitic. In the last 60 years, I have been involved in the struggle against this modern slavery for Africa. The curse of producing raw materials for cleverer people in the world to add value to those raw materials and get much more value from them. For the last 60 years and more, I have been involved in struggle against all of this. A kilogram of bean coffee of good quality may go for US dollars 2.5 billion to $2.5 a kilo of good quality. They call it something, some Q something. They give them some names. You may get $2.5. The same quantity of coffee, roasted, ground, and packaged outside, may go for US dollars 40. For what Africa gets $2.5, somebody else gets $40. This is where there is massive hemorrhage of money from the global south to the global north. It is not only the loss of money per kilo, it is also the loss of jobs, because these are jobs. The one who roasts is a job. The one who grinds is a job. The one who packages is a job. All those jobs are exported.
Thank you for staying connected, my great and wonderful viewers. You can hear what Uganda president said. You know, it is a very good thing for a country to have a president that the people have access to, and the president that give account of everything that is happening in his country. You know, Nigerian president will never give account, and they will never be free with the Nigerian people. They always see it as if they are bigger than the country that they are serving. Tinubu see Nigeria as if he's bigger than Nigeria. It's even bigger than the law of Nigeria. You know, Uganda president made this fact to be known. He said a lot of countries have mineral resources in Africa, mineral resources that is able to liberate the country from poverty, but they keep sending this mineral resources to European Union and even EU and AU. They sell it to big European countries and big American countries. Unlike Niger have uranium, so they sell their uranium to France, an European country. France buy uranium from Niger, so they use it for their nuclear medicine. They use it for their electricity. So France is having a standby electricity. Light doesn't blink in France, but in Niger don't used to have light. There are a lot of places, popular places in Niger, civilized places to be in Niger that is not even having light for a month. So Niger is still having light, and Niger is supplying France light and all of that. So France is taking their mineral resources from them and is giving them money, but the money France is giving them, Niger president and Niger politicians are not allowing the masses to benefit from everything. Likewise, Nigeria is having petrol, but Nigerians are buying petrol on a very high price. Nigeria is having crude oil, but we are still buying petrol in a very high price, which is not supposed to be. Even with the removal of subsidy, price of petrol is not supposed to be more than 300 naira at maximum, but now we're buying fuel at the rate of 750, 720, 600 and all of that, which is not supposed to be in a country where we have the raw material of producing the petroleum. This is not supposed to be. What African leaders are doing is sending our raw materials out, satisfying the American countries and the European countries without satisfying ourselves first. According to what the Uganda president said, he said, if you want to satisfy other people first, you need to satisfy yourself. If you are a good father and you need to satisfy other people, satisfy your home first as a family man. Likewise, Nigeria, we need to satisfy ourselves with the petroleum that we have first before we send it out for sale. But in Nigeria, people are suffering of the petroleum. We are really suffering about the raw materials that we're having. We are suffering about everything. It's not even enough in Nigeria, and yet our leaders are very greedy with the money, with the dollars that US is paying them and all of that. They are sending the petroleum out there, which is not supposed to be. We need to be satisfied first before we export it for other people to use. And the president of Uganda made another point. He said when the people came to meet him, when the people in Europe came to meet him, that they want to come and carry their uranium in Uganda to Europe and all of that, he asked them, he said, what do you want to carry it to Europe for? They told him, they said they want to go and process it and all of that. Then the man is very intelligent. He said, can they bring what it takes to process it and bring it to his country and be processing it in his country? At least they should serve his own country first. His own country people too deserve to live a better life. They should serve his own country first. Then after serving his own country, they can now take the remaining leftover to their country and use it, and they pay back in dollars and all of that and in euros. That was what the man said. And by so doing, when the processing and packaging of uranium and everything, when the processing company is in Uganda, the people of Uganda will have employment. The people of Uganda will be the one packaging and processing. They will undergo training by the European people, and by so doing, they will have employment and all of that, because they have the packaging company in their country and they have all the processing company in their country. So employment rate will go high and the economy of the country will be booming. That was what the man said. But the moment the man told them that, they disappeared. Likewise, Nigeria need to be exercising the same thing. Nigerian government need to exercise the same intelligence, because the people of Uganda so much love their president with the transparency of the president. The president of Uganda is just like Peter Obi. That man is very transparent and the people love him for that. But the president of Nigeria is not transparent. They are busy sharing money in the tribunal now just for them to provide justice, and they are busy sharing money in the House of Senate and all of that. We do not know where this money is coming from, but all we know is that this money is for Nigerians, and this is not supposed to be so in a democratic government. That is why, with the way democracy is going, people are not interested, they are not motivated to be in a democratic government again, because the people that we call leaders, they have swallowed this country up, they have eaten it up, and they did not rule the affair of the country based on the people's interest. They rule the affair of the country based on their own pocket, their personal interest. They are exporting the petroleum of Nigeria out in several occasions, and the people of Nigeria are starving on that petroleum. They can't even afford 1 liter. 1 liter is 700 and all of that. There's hike in price of petrol, and that leads to inflation in goods and commodities in Nigeria. People cannot afford 3 square meal again. Even a square meal, they can't afford it in a country where we have a lot of mineral resources that can liberate everyone from poverty. But our leaders are so concerned about their pockets. What do you guys think regarding what Uganda president said? Drop your opinion in the comment section on this video, as I'm going on there to get an answer for you. Feel free to drop your opinion. Ensure you follow me on all my social media handles, on Facebook at Lajupog Watch TV and Lajupog Entertainment, and on Instagram at Lajupog. Guess what, guys? See you in my next video. Bye.